I've got a trio bunker for you today. I've been really excited to show you this space, and I've been working on this video for a while, and I think I finally got it where I can share it with you. There's a lot of different ways you can build this base and a lot of different interpretations that can come from it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your interpretations. So I really hope that you stop by the Twitch channel or join the Discord and share your experiences with this base with me in those places. And comment down below how it goes if you try to build it, especially if you survive any offline raids. So this base has a couple of key features. It is a bunker base, and it does have a very small starter. It's also a very unorthodox base in terms of traditional floor plans. That means that raiders are going to have a more difficult time guessing where your TC is. So with a minimum of 20 rockets to get to the TC, if you've taken the right path, that makes this base very defendable, especially when you start to add turrets, outer walls, or online defenses. Okay, to get started, we're going to place a triangle on the ground that's going to be our TC eventually. Then we're going to put one square for a loot room and a raised foundation on this side of the triangle. Now let's close it in with walls and a wall frame here for our double door. Finish with a half wall, a triangle here, and a floor here. Oops, not there. Wait for it. Here. Now I like to add a half wall and a floor triangle frame before placing my TC, because you're not going to be able to place the triangle frame after, and it's going to make it an extra pain for raiders later on. Now that we've got our TC, we can delete the half wall, and let's start upgrading everything to stone. So there you go. Now we're just going to add a door and some locks of our choice, and you'll see that this is a very low cost starter for even a solo on a high pop vanilla server on launch day. So the very next thing you're going to want to do is to put an airlock on this puppy. You might even want to do it with your initial build. So let's put two triangles and a raised foundation just outside the door and another wall frame. We're going to put two half walls here because this is going to be eventually bunker entrance. So now, let's go ahead and close it in with a triangle and upgrade everything to stone. Notice that this outside triangle is not here because, again, this will be our bunker entrance. After you've finished upgrading everything, we'll put on one more door and lock, and then we're going to close the stability bunker. We'll talk more about this later, but for now, we're just going to place a half wall and a triangle to close it all up. I'm going to make sure and rotate the half wall and also leave it twig. You do not want to upgrade this. With that out of the way, we have a fully stone and airlock starter base that will support us for a good while to come. At 3,600 stone and just over 650 wood, it's very affordable, especially for the trio that it could eventually support. Keep in mind these costs do not include any doors, TCs, or deployables. Big expansion can be done entirely from the exterior of the base without taking off these doors or opening the bunker. And we're going to start by adding a loot room outside of our door. So we want to add a square foundation and then wall it in and convert it all to stone. This will give us two full loot rooms, place for our bags, and a TC all within the bunker area. When it comes time to build out the loot room, you can connect to the half wall here to put a floor halfway up your room without going outside. Because if you're like me, going outside might mean getting shot. Once again, you could build whatever kind of loot room you prefer, and it's not within the scope of this video for me to tell you how to try to build those. However, on the side with the TC, you're not going to want to put a floor, because you're going to need to be able to put sleeping bags in the area. So instead, I'm going to put a shelf here, and then I'm going to put a window blocking the TC. Keep in mind when placing this window, it can make it difficult to upgrade the pieces inside if you've already honeycombed outside. So be mindful of when you honeycomb and when you upgrade these pieces near the TC. Let's build out the loot rooms. I want to place 4 boxes where the shelves are. And this should give you room to place 3 sleeping bags in this orientation. Well, let's just get this one, right? One more. Hold on, let me just... Got it. Now again, when it comes to the dedicated loot room, you could put your own version here, or whatever kind you prefer. This core alone should provide plenty of storage for a trio all the way up through middle game. Moving outside the bunker core, we're going to do our largest expansion now, where we make the outer lobby. Let's place a lowered triangle here that will house some furnaces later, and a half wall. Now we're going to wall in this floor, and we can swap some of the walls for door frames to use as functional honeycomb. I like to do the one above the furnaces right here. We continue this floor height with triangles, and continue to wall in the area. This is going to be a loot room, and this wall can be another optional doorway. For now, we're just going to continue filling in the build with these half walls, and we're also going to need to make an entrance. For now, I'm actually going to remove this triangle and drop it down one level. This is going to be a slightly smaller build and a little bit more efficient with our parts. So I'm going to go ahead and put a double doorway here and a square foundation. This is going to serve as our airlock. Another wall frame for a shop front, and then 2 doorways. This way we can exit out either side. Lastly, we have what I like to call the cubby, which is this little half-size area above the entrance. Let's close this in and put a roof on the place. So that should give us the general layout, and it's time to start upgrading. But this piece here is going to be our jump up, so for now, I'm just going to leave it wood so it could be cut out later. Everything else, we're going to go ahead and upgrade to stone. And with that, it's time to put some doors on so we can get a good night's sleep. Anywhere that you put doorways on the second level, you'll need to put a door in temporarily until we build the outer honeycomb. A standard double door here serves as our actual airlock, blocking the single doors when opened. And with that, the basic interior footprint of our base is complete. Time to start placing deployables. First of all, it's a good idea to put a garage door or double door in front of the drop down here, as otherwise there's not much stopping them from getting towards your core. This upgrade is going to set you back about 2 rows of stone and just a couple stacks of wood. And here's a look at the upkeep. So now you've got your base shell built, but it's only 2C4 to our TC. So let's go ahead and honeycomb this lower level. Remember, we want to make sure and upgrade these pieces first, as we'll never be able to get back to them. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade the whole core bunker area to armored now. Now we're going to put a pancake layer above the core, and I like to stand inside the loot rooms when placing these walls so that I know that the hard side is facing the best way possible. I'm also going to go ahead and upgrade these to at least sheet metal, as once again, once I've closed everything up, I'm not going to be able to get back to these pieces. Now's a good time to replace this wood floor triangle as well, with either a triangle ladder hatch or a protected jump up. Now we close these in and upgrade them to our liking, and our pancake layer will be complete. Next, we're going to move on to finishing the honeycomb. Most important is going to be to honeycomb the armored areas first, but ultimately we're going to honeycomb everything except for the airlock. Would you look at this fun thing? Would you rate this? How would you rate it? Leave a comment down below. If you haven't already, let's go ahead and finish upgrading everything inside the core to armored as well. Keep in mind the 2 small triangles in the middle should never be able to be reached by raiders, so you don't need to upgrade them past stone. We're also going to upgrade everything else inside the lobby to sheet metal. Let's get started. Looking good. This is usually a good time to upgrade most of your doors to garage doors, except for the one at the airlock, as it's what maintains the airlock on our outer single doors. At this point in the video, our base is nearly complete. However, we have a little bit more honeycombing to do, so let's get to it. As mentioned earlier in the video, some of these walls can be swapped for door frames to use as functional honeycomb, so let me show you exactly what I mean. You'll have to make a decision in early game whether or not to invest the additional resources required to close in open doorways, or whether you want to just put a wall and move along. However, with a raised foundation here, I can actually equip this doorway with vending machines or perhaps furnaces for additional cooking. Let's take a look around our lobby and get an idea of the floor plan. And there you have it. Okay, let's go over our deployables, what we can fit inside the base, and what some of my suggestions are. First of all, this lowered section here is specifically designed to fit furnaces in. Putting them on a lowered foundation allows you to walk directly across the top of them as if they're a regular floor. This is also why I like to do the functional honeycomb here, as I can fit 6 furnaces in this area. Above our bunker entrance is going to be otherwise unused, so let's go ahead and place a floor halfway up, and we can use this for storage or some form of defensibility like a shotgun trap or turrets. Shotgun traps can also be placed here in the cubby or in the bunker here. Placing a turret on this triangle means you can protect your bunker entrance as well as have a clear view of the airlock. Moving on, we're going to go ahead and set up our outer loot room. This can be, once again, any type of loot room you prefer. I'm going to go ahead and stock this one up and do a little fast forward, and we will move to the next part. And that should about do it. Okay, so one of my favorites over here is to do a vending machine in our functional honeycomb, but again, there are tons of different options of what you can do with your functional honeycomb, and this might even be just a wall in your build. For our cubby area, I really prefer to have a drop box or 2, and a shotgun trap, and also a repair bench. This open square here is a good spot for your workbench, and a box underneath, of course. With that, we are, yeah, it's home sweet home, you know? Alright, so that'll about cover it. Again, this video, we're just going over the core base itself. We're not adding any additional floors like shooting floors or external TCs. However, you can integrate those into this base however you see fit. As usual, I'd love to see you over on the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/itsprocess. And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below if you have any fun stories about this base. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.